It's not showing it. It started. Can you hear me now?
Some buildings.
Great.
Better? There we go. It looks like that should be hearing me. We're good? Hello everyone. Sorry for the delay there. We were having some technical difficulties. Okay. Hi Nashi. Thank you so much for the sub. It's great to see you. It feels like I have not been on streaming for a long time. And it apparently has actually been a week. But, you know, at least we're picking up where we left off, which was with this ceramic. You had me muted. That's okay. I didn't say anything important, so we're good. There's a lot of smoke in the air where I live right now from wildfires, and my voice is not liking it. So the first thing we're gonna do today is tape down the drawing that we made last time so that I can give it a background. And I also have to decide if I want to use watercolor or gouache on this piece. She wants it to look the most like the ceramic reference photo that you can see as I can get it. And I think that I'm going to be able to do... see, I want to do the leaves in watercolor, but maybe the hearts in... or the... maybe the strawberries in gouache for that. Really not sure. It's gonna be a little bit of a an experiment. And if we don't like what we come up with, I will just do it again, and then we will have learned. But the first thing that I know I want to do is do a background over the whole piece. To do that, though, there are places that I think I want to mask off. Yeah. So, with watercolor, it's going to be beautiful. Thank you, Nashi. I hope that it is. It's for my best friend, whose grandmother just passed. And these were the plates that she always ate on growing up. But she didn't want to keep the whole plate set because it was just heavy and she didn't need it. But she wanted something to remember them by. So that's going to be this. Or if this one turns out not as she wants it, then the next one that I do. So here's my dilemma. I can take masking fluid and mask off the flowers. Or I can use something like painter's tape and mask them off. I think I better use masking fluid. Let me see if I have the brush that I use for that. I remember that it's a really not so great of a brush, but its purpose isn't really the brush. Its purpose is to spread masking fluid around. It's that one. Nope, it's not that one. Okay, let's think about this instead of just randomly grabbing brushes out of my brush container. Where would I have put that brush? Someday, when I grow up, I'll be organized. That'd be great. Okay, I'm gonna go get my masking fluid and then we will get started. Okay. So step one is going to be to mask off what I'd like to remain white. That's going to be these strawberry blossoms. This is the masking fluid I like, mainly because it comes in this bottle. Fine Line Resist Pen. I don't even know if Fine Line is the brand. I don't know. But it comes in this bottle with a nice little narrow tip. And the lid has this little pin poking out of it that you get to put in the tip and you put it away so it stays open. Another thing that I'm gonna do is put a piece of paper down here so that oils from my hand don't get on the paper. Let's just give it a go. Actually going to zoom in here so that you can see this process a little better. I'm basically just drawing with a glue bottle now. So masking fluid is just a kind of goopy stuff that you can put on here that protects the paper from the paint when you actually paint. Hi always, how are you? I'm going to use this brush, which has a flat back to kind of spread the masking fluid out where I don't want the paint to be able to reach. One mistake that I have made before is making the layer of masking fluid too thin. While it will work if it's thin, it's very difficult to get off of the paper later on, especially depending on the brand of your masking fluid. But with this going on, you'll be able to keep those blossoms nice and white. And then I'll add speckles that kind of mimic the glaze pattern later on. I'm not going to worry about anything else on here needing to be covered up when I do the background, because it's just going to be a really fine brown, or a really thin layer of paint. I'm going to go ahead and clear the tip a little bit. It seems like it's clogged a little. Always, how are you doing? Okay, I'm trying to get some out here, but it's not wanting to come because it's clogged up. Not really. Oh yeah, I did actually. I did actually ask her. I just spent the weekend with her. And while I was doing that, I did ask her if she wanted it to be watercolory or as much like the ceramic as possible. She said she thinks she wants it to be as much like the ceramic as possible, so that's the goal for today. And I also have to decide if I'm going to use mostly gouache or mostly watercolor or what. Good, I'm glad that you're doing well. Glad. I'm in a little bit of trouble with this pen. Move it a little over so that it's easier to see. But since these are just basically big shapes, I'm just spreading it around with the tip of this brush. If you get your bristles in it, it messes up your brush, because it's basically a glue that you can then peel off. I think I'm going to use the back of the brush to do the large parts and then come in with the tip of the stuff and make it a little bit more exact around the edges. Okay. I'm going to clean that off. And I'm actually going to try to see what's quite literally gumming up the works here. Looks like we've just got dried frisket in there, so I'm gonna try to get some of it out. Gonna go ahead and put that in, see if I can fish out any more of it. I am allergic to them. Hi, Soulstar. But I'm not doing it because I like strawberries. I'm doing it because a friend wants it done. All right, let's see if that's a little bit less of a clogged mess now. Fruit of the devil. Do you have a good reason for not liking them? Do you just not like the flavor? You seem to be very adamant about this. They taste horrible. Okay. That's fair. always loved the taste, but of course, that's how it goes. I can think of so many things I'd be fine being allergic to. I don't know why the camera stopped. Let's try to fix that. Okay. Well, I guess it's better now. Kind of just turned itself off, but the camera is my phone, and someday when we have a good camera that is not just my phone, on that day, it will be a little bit more reliable. And its battery won't die in 2 hours. Okay, there we go. That one looks adequately masked. I'll get this over here under my hand, so I'm not leaving hand oil on here. How is the training to be dog trainer going, Soulstar? It was one of my favorites, always. I don't know if it counts as a favorite after it kills you now. That's a real love-hate relationship. What's going on with this one? Okay, its petals just come down. It's like this petal fell off, I guess. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and mask off the center of this flower as well, just in case it would look a little bit different to paint the center of the flower over a layer of the background. Okay, I think that's gonna do it. Okay, there are only 3 flowers on this motif. Yes, looks good. Okay, I'm gonna put the lid back on. There we go. Okay. Now we let this dry. But while I do so, I can set it up for doing the background. So to do the background, I've done this once before on stream and it worked pretty well. And it's funny because it was actually in making a piece for this same friend. You get it at a nice angle. Maybe a little bit more than this. I think about 45 degrees will be good. I want to prop that up. Maybe we'll use this. Brian, I have a request. Upstairs in my suitcase, there is a Ziploc baggie with weird little wooden shapes in it. Would you bring it to me, please? Thank you. Oh no! I tilted it and the masking fluid's running. Yeah, I guess that's why we don't tilt it while it's wet. Oh, the masking stuff, all that it does is a resist. Basically, it's like a glue that you put on, and then it protects the paper from something that you do afterwards. And then when you're ready to reveal whatever was under it, which in this case is just white paper, you peel it off. Okay. So I guess we're gonna have to let that dry before I tilt it. I thought it was viscous enough that it wouldn't run that much, but it definitely tried. So we're gonna try something else. While it's drying, I'm going to try to prepare some little wooden ornaments that I was thinking about making and selling for Christmas ornaments, for hand-painted Christmas ornaments. I'm going to use this Daniel Smith watercolor ground. One of the things about watercolor is that it relies a lot on how the water moves on your paper, on your canvas, on whatever, your background. So, when you want to paint on wood, watercolor is a little bit difficult. Yes, that's it. Thank you. So I got these at the thrift store. Oh, let me hide the strawberry ceramic for a minute here. Oops. Not that one. Okay. So I got this at the thrift store because I wanted these wooden things. And I was thinking that I can try watercoloring on them and it might be really pretty. We're gonna see what happens. They're very small, as you can tell. Let's zoom this one in. And then we'll get a little bit more light on the project here. And I will show you what happens. These are not straight wood. It feels like they've been treated with something, so I'm not sure how the water is going to move on them. But let's just go ahead and give it a go. What should we do just to see what happens? Let's just do a sunset. We will do dark purple. Okay. Yeah, that'll be good. See, it's just kind of appearing gray because watercolor also depends on the color of the paper behind it, which is, you know, usually white. Now we're going to go to a kind of red. See if we can blend this at all. Well, it's certainly staining it. It's not, however, flowing into the other. Let's go to an orange. Well, this is kind of what you would get if you took a marker and painted on it with your marker. And it's not what I'm after. It's pretty enough, but it's not what I'm after. I want to make real watercolor works of art on here. So what we're gonna do Let's do this one without a base. Now we're gonna try this Daniel Smith watercolor ground. So you put this on your piece. Let's do it on a larger one for starters here. I've only used it once before. It looks a little more dry than I would like it to look, but it might just, if I stir it, it might rehydrate. It has actually been a couple years since I used it last. The only other time I used it. I'm just using the back of a paintbrush because it works great as a stir stick. Not gonna hurt it at all. Okay, it is kind of like paste in here. Okay, I can deal with this. Okay. Go ahead and see if there's a brush here that I don't know how I feel about it. Okay. Let's use this one. Very relaxing. I'm glad, Nashi. Thank you so much. Let's see what happens. I know that you just let it dry after you use it. I've used it once before on a wooden ornament, but that was actually a piece of a branch that my dad just cut off for me with his chainsaw. And I painted a rainbow trout. I painted this stuff on the background and then a rainbow trout on the front because I wanted to see it, how the water would move on it. So let's see how that goes. I don't know if it recommends one coat or two. Alright, now I'm going to clean up the edges and let it dry. We're just doing all sorts of projects all at the same time today. Thanks always. It's really nice to have both of you here. I think you two are the only ones who really like my art streams, but I'm okay with that because I like them too. All right, let's see how the masking fluid's doing. It is certainly still wet, but it's getting there. So you can kind of see where it's still it's tacky to touch. Oh, hello. Thank you, Nashi. Okay. There we go. Actually, I see one little spot on this flower that I don't think has any. So I'm just gonna borrow some from this. And honestly, I could get rid of some of this. It doesn't have to be that thick to work. And then it will dry faster. The only risk with that is making holes in it that I don't want to be there. So, not to avoid that. Okay, now it will dry faster. Hopefully. But we can go ahead and get the background color mixed up that we're going to use. Let's bring that image back up so that I can think about this. So I want to have a good pot of this color made. I'm going to just go ahead and use this little measuring container that I have, because I know that the last time I did this, I kind of ran out of background color, and it was annoying. I don't want to do that again. So, okay, in looking at this reference photo... Oh, whoa. Can you help me? Hey, Geo? Hey, Geo? Come over here and help me, please. My thing just fell down. They don't.
Trust me.
No, I trust you. Everybody, don't mind this. Now she says, we need help in here. The clamp that holds my light and camera just fell, and so I grabbed the camera to stop it, and...
Here, I thought you'd be using your new talents.
I know, I thought about that. It was close. We just about smashed it down, but I saw it going, and... We don't have the best equipment in the world, but it does what it needs to do for us. It makes us work for its affection and for its functionality. I'll take the camera off so you guys don't have to get seasick. There, check this out. I can work on it while he fixes that. Just really up close. Here's our container. Okay, so in looking at the background of this...
Okay.
Fixed. Thank you, dear. That was exciting. And you guys thought the art stream was relaxing. Wait, hey Brian, would you get me more water? There's a little container in there. Okay, I just had to prove you all wrong that it's not relaxing. It gets exciting in here. Really, really exciting. Let's mix up the background. Thanks. So we're gonna start with some water. I'm gonna get it in there with this brush that's very thirsty brush. It means it lifts water really well, holds water really well. Okay. Any bit of excitement is okay. Okay, good. I'm glad. So it's like it's a grayish, light gray. I'm gonna start with a blue. That is very blue. I'm actually gonna wet a lot of these. I'm gonna want a lot of colors in here to try to make it this kind of gray. Neutral gray. Simon needs to snack on strawberries. Yeah, I bet mice love strawberries. Probably makes strawberry owners of strawberry farm places pretty mad at mice sometimes. Alright, I'm gonna grab a notebook here just to be testing out this color on. Okay, there's a little bit of room on this page that I can use. Okay. This is kind of too cool of a gray. I'm going to warm it up a little bit by adding some orangey color. Let's zoom in so we can all watch that. See how this is not wanting to stick down? That's because of the oil on my hands that I've used to turn this page right here. That's annoying. I'm gonna add some more brown. Okay. Now we've got orange. Let's see, ooh, that's actually pretty good. Very good, very close. So now I'm just gonna add some more water, a little bit, and mix up some more of it, because that's a good color. That's what I'm going for. So now I'm just trying to make more of that exact mix, or at least an equally suitable mix. A little browns, we're gonna add some more blue to make it a little more neutral, a little more of a gray than a brown. Okay. I'm gonna check what we have again. Great, it's a great color. Again, it's very dark, so I'm gonna add some more water, which is exactly what I want. Now let's see. Still a little, I think that's pretty good. Really? Okay, I'm now going to switch to a smaller brush. I think it'll help me pick up more pigment and leave more pigment in the actual container here. Blue. Some more of that warm brown. This again. Good. I really don't want to run out of the color, but I also don't want it to be too watered down. Good. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to take up some water with my pipette here. Now, let's see if that's about right. Can't tell if that would be too light or not. It's difficult because I don't want to have to do this twice. I don't want to do the background twice. Let's add some more pigment since we added more water. Basically, we're just adding blue, then some of this brown, which I think is my, it's not my raw umber, I think it's burnt umber. Making sure that it is a homogeneous mixture. Checking on that. Okay, we're gonna call that good. Let me check on the masking fluid. almost dry. My voice is kind of croaky. I know I mentioned it earlier, but kind of croaky because we have a lot of wildfires going on around us. And a lot of smoke is in the air. Several complete towns have had to be evacuated, and people's homes are burning down, and it's stressful and awful. So we're just gonna hope and pray that it doesn't get quite this far. Okay, let's set this up for the actual background, doing the background. So I'm making it long ways because I want to be able to keep that bead of paint as consistently wet as possible. To make sure that it's not gonna... Okay, that looks pretty good. Ah, not quite dry there yet. I'm so impatient. I'll just take a big drink while we wait. Dang, where did I put my really thick brush? Yeah, this would be perfect. I'm gonna sit up here again. Okay. And we're gonna go ahead and give this a try and hope we don't run out of paint. So, I'm making sure to mix up the paint really well and then get it through my brush so that I don't have any pockets of less pigmented water in my brush. And then so this is what they call a flat wash. Basically, you're using the pigment to hopefully cover the piece equally. I've only done it, I think, once before. They tell you to practice it a ton when you are first learning to watercolor, but I haven't. I don't know, things have always come, at least artistic things have usually come pretty easily to me. And so I watch somebody do it, I plan and stress a lot about it, and then I finally do it, and it usually works pretty well, which is kind of a blessing and a curse. Kenneth. You mean like painting actual murals and stuff on the walls of my house? I was actually, no, I haven't. I was actually thinking about painting one of the cabinets in my garage though today. So you can see here how the masking fluid is keeping that paint off of the paper. Here, I'm gonna pull that up, otherwise the pigment will puddle there and be darker. I would be scared, so scared to paint a mural in my house. I would be afraid I would mess it up. And then it would be there staring at me on my wall. However, I love murals. Man, I've seen some beautiful ones where they look like a garden or a jungle, and that would be so neat. Would you want to watch something like that? Because theoretically, I was thinking about doing my There's a nice blank cabinet in my garage. It's already painted white and it just looks so white. Okay, so then this is the part that I found that was a little bit tricky in the past. Was now the pigment is all puddled up down here, and if I don't pick it up, if I pick up too much, there will be a paler line. If I pick up not enough, there will be a darker line. But I'm just letting it soak up into my brush, dabbing it off so that it's drier. It also doesn't matter as much on this piece because I think that she's going to frame it around, so you won't actually see these things. Okay. You know what? That actually, I don't know if you guys can even tell that it's not white anymore, but it's actually a nice, it looks a lot like the ceramic. Sweet. Successful. I'll let that continue to dry slightly on its edge here. What? You talking to me? Oh. Gio's talking to himself, I guess. Let's lift that out. Here it's just puddled on top of the masking fluid. So I'm not worried about that making weird things. The only problem is that because it remained wet longer, the capillary action of the paper pulled the water back, and I'm getting kind of cauliflower right there, which is kind of annoying me. Okay, not gonna lie, which is annoying me greatly. Up here it's not, and I think it's because I took that puddle out sooner. But I don't think that that will even be noticeable when the piece is actually dry and completed. So, there you have it, a flat, mostly wash. That would be a stressful thing for me, but it would probably be good for me. Okay. Moving. Some of the stuff out of here. And looking at it. Okay. It's looking pretty good. It's gonna need to dry before we really do anything else to it. Oh, that cauliflowery stuff is making me mad. It's really interesting to see how the brown pigment is probably a larger pigment, meaning like physically more massive, because as the capillary action is pushing that water outward, the blue pigment is getting further and like ringing the outside of the cauliflower, and the brown pigment is what's left. Could also be that the brown pigment is just more staining and both of the pigments are being pulled out. That's probably more likely. I'll pretend that that's interesting so that I'm not annoyed at the cauliflower action that we've got going on. Okay, so now we're gonna let that dry. Let's go back to the ornament and see if it's dry. You're probably supposed to let this stuff dry for like days. Let me read the directions. Crazy idea. Creates a paintable surface for watercolor. Absorbent surfaces, canvas paper, plastic, hardwood, cardboard. Non-absorbent surfaces, glass, plastic. Okay, yes, obviously. Allow 24 to 48 hours before applying watercolor or acrylics. but it feels dry. It was a very thin layer. Okay, we're gonna see what happens. 24 hours. I allowed like 24 minutes, if that. We're gonna see what happens. Worst case, it doesn't look good. And we've learned something. So. Zooming in. Let's do... we're just gonna do a blue... Okay, we're gonna do a red to blue to yellow. And just see if it'll, see what it looks like. And I'm gonna be careful not to scrub. Ooh, it's pretty. I do see how it runs, like that. Ooh, it's pretty. Try to mix that in and make it look purple. I didn't think about it, but this particular blue and red don't make a great purple. But they're actually trying. This is pretty good. I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'm gonna very edge. Now we're gonna do yellow. (24 to 48 hours). Yeah, right. Need to get kind of a variegation going on there. I'm sure that it would work better if you waited longer, but I'm going to use a different red now, because this red does better at making a purple. I can see that I am starting to pick up that white stuff on my brush, the base, as I go on. It's coming up. I think it means for best results, be patient. For quick results, don't use very much water and work fast. See, I should write directions for them. Oops. Okay. I'm gonna stop messing with it because it's getting worse. Okay, off you go, little star. You can dry. Clean up the desk a little bit. Okay. Yeah. But see, I was thinking something like, for Christmas ornaments, if I did something like this, it was actually sunset colors rather than just a straight rainbow, and like a silhouette of the Christ child in a manger, or silhouette of like Mary and Joseph and looking at a manger. I think it'd be beautiful. And then while there is no star in the sky, the whole thing is a star. I don't know. I was feeling artistic when I found these. Thinking, okay, let's check out our back to the strawberry painting. See if it's ready to work on. This is like the most ADD art stream that there ever was. Working on so many different things all at the same time. Maybe it's not ADD, maybe we're just multitasking. We are maximizing our productivity. Okay, good. It is certainly dry enough to work on. Now I have to decide yeah, we're gonna peel up the masking fluid. First, I'm dabbing off the masking fluid because since that masking fluid is non-permeable to the watery pigment, it's puddled on top still, and I don't want to peel it up and have that splatter anywhere. So I've dabbed that up. To peel masking fluid, they say you can use an eraser. I've tried that. I've never had luck with that. I usually just like to find a paintbrush that has one of these slanted, angled edges on the end, because that way it doesn't scratch the paper, but you can kind of use it to get started, and then you can just peel it up. But see, so now you can see how it protected the original white of the paper when we did the background over the top of it. Yeah, it's coming pretty well. Now, while I'm doing this, I should be thinking about if I'm going to use watercolor, wash, or both to achieve the results that I want here. I think I'm gonna try gouache. I used watercolor to do the background because it's nice and easy to make it why that's kind of trying to peel the paper. But it's easier to get watercolor to thin out like that. It's made to do that. Now I'm gonna let the masking fluid dry some more on the other flowers because that even tore a little bit at the edge. But I still have the paint that we did the background with, so I'm actually gonna just see if I can touch it up. You know what? I think the brown pigment actually is smaller than the blue pigment because the bottom of this little cup had a bunch of blue pigment on it, and it was noticeably blue and not so brown, so interesting. Okay. Yeah, all right. Thank you always. Okay. Oh, okay. Should we start on the leaves or on the berries? I'm gonna grab my gouache. I think leaf? Okay. I'm gonna start on leaves then. Let me orient this the same way as the reference photos so we're not trying to drive ourselves crazy. Let's look at those leaves. Okay, these three down here look less complicated to me than the rest of the leaves. These ones don't have that dark staining in the middle. So that's what we're going to start with. Okay, let's get a brush that is a little bigger. Okay, this one will be good. Okay, the gouache that I'm going to be using is Holbein, and that is the brand. It is also rather dry because I haven't used it for quite a while, several weeks in fact. So the first thing that I'm going to do is spray it down. I have these little spray bottles like this, and I'm just gonna, usually I wouldn't do this over my painting, but since it's on stream, I want you guys to be able to see the exciting event that is squirting gouache with water. There you go. See, your lives will never be the same. Talk about excitement. Maybe a little bit more. I love opening it up because it smells like, hey Collins, how are you? It smells like clove oil because I have clove oil in there to prevent, or at least to slow down the process of molding that happens. Okay, let's mix up a green. You know what? I want to clean off the top of my palette because there's just, this painting is going to require 2-3 colors tops. We need a good green. We need a nice dark red. And so I'm going to be one of those organized artists that actually has a nice clean slate, as it were. So I just have a wet paper towel here, and it hurts my soul deep inside to do this. I feel like I'm wasting paint. But you know what? It'll be okay. I will probably never use all of the paint that I have bought, so it'll be okay. Ooh, apparently if I kind of scrub this, even the staining comes off. I love this little palette. It's nice. Not too concerned about the stains. I just don't want to lift up any different pigments and put them where they shouldn't go. Oh, come on, Bob Ross, you got this. True. Very true. Happy little accidents. All right. We have determined the leaves we're going to work on. We have made sure that the bottom of my palette doesn't have anything on it, so I'm not going to screw up my painting by putting it there, because that would anger me. Okay. We have also wet down the paints. Bob Ross. You guys have Bob Ross emojis? That's fun. Okay. I want to mix this kind of leafy green here. And it actually looks like it's going to be pretty close to what we need. We're going to use it and the yellow that's right above it to make a really, really warm green. Now that's really a pretty green. It's a little bit more lime than I want. So I'm looking at the very lightest of the greens. Bob Ross is a global emote. Fancy. All right, good to know. It's a little bit too vibrant, even for the edges of the lighter places. So I'm going to add a little bit of this green to darken it down. And then I'm going to add, let's see, what would dull this? A tad of orange will dull this. Might have been too much. Yeah, now we just have puke brown. Great. Well, puke brown is always useful. We're gonna add more green to it. Yeah, it's like bile brown. We'll get the alliteration going in there. Okay. This is a very good color for some of the inner bits, I think. Yeah, looks a lot like it. And then over along the side, I want to make a place that's more for the yellow-green. All right, here we go. Let's look at this leaf here. It has this around the outer edges. That is coming across much darker than I was thinking I was gonna have here. But with gouache, that's okay because I can get it. I can put a light color over the darker. So I've heard. I've never been particularly successful at doing it with gouache. But theoretically, you can. I also need to remember that gouache dries lighter. That's the opposite of watercolor. And so I'm used to putting on watercolor and thinking, oh my gosh, that's so dark. Oh no, wait, maybe that's backwards. Yeah, watercolor dries lighter, gouache dries darker. Okay, then what we're gonna do, I sure did. Then I changed it to bile because, you know. Is that a bad word? I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna get a smaller paintbrush. And we're gonna get the yellow. We're gonna mix up some of this white in it. So this is a chunk of white. It's all dried out. But hopefully it'll rehydrate in here. And let me do lighter yellows along the edges. See how well that's showing up on stream here. Okay. I'm gonna try something else. What happens if I try to lift gouache with water? Well, we get a lighter green. Kind of like the lighter green that's on that leaf. Okay, so my paintbrush now just has water on it. I am simply using that wet paintbrush to move some of the pigment away from the edges so that we get kind of that dappled effect. Seems to actually be working surprisingly well. Okay, let's, I am, however, going to do this other one differently. I'm going to get, this one has very little of the yellow coloring, of that yellow coloring on it. So I'm going to just basically use this like watercolor. Because here I've really diluted it. Now I'm going to use some of the less diluted to go in kind of leaf, following the shape of the leaf here. And see how that looks. Looks pretty good. The only problem is that it looks very different than the other leaf. Okay, this, however, is looking a lot like our reference photo. And how those colors are turning out. So let's try adding some of the lines now that are lines, but they're also kind of blurry. So if I do it while it's still slightly wet, I'm hoping that they will blur out very faintly. Okay. This is why you should practice what you're gonna do if you don't know how you're gonna do it yet. Because this looks really good, and I wish I'd done it to the first leaf. So now the trick is going to be getting this old leaf to look like this new leaf. I'm going to wet it down, and then I'm going to see if I can lift up more color. Because I want less pigment there. I'm going to see if I can move the pigment around. Now we have the right amount of pigment, it's just wrong places. But if we can get the leaves to match, we'll be happy. Yep, that's pretty good. Satisfied. Let's do the next leaf. Okay, this one took a pretty watery underlayer. I'm actually using the tip of this paintbrush because it's pretty much the same shape as those leaves' little points. A little too much water on that brush, dabbing it off. Okay. I'm gonna turn this around so that it's in a better position for my brush to actually get to. This one has a few blotchier places. They're darker. Really, it looks like they're following the same contours. Let's see. It has a couple stripes like this. I want to make sure that it's there we go. That looks pretty good. No, thank you, always. It does look a lot like the ceramic, which is good. I mean, that's the goal. Right? It does. I want it to have a little bit more yellow color in there. When I do add the black lines at the end that are kind of outlining these leaves and stuff, that'll also give it more definition. And so those edges don't have to be perfect little points because my pen will make it look like that. Okay, I do want to this part that comes out of the plant, or out of the stem, and turns into the center vein here. Because it's a little bit better defined on this plant, on this leaf, than the others. It's still a little bit feathered out, so the moisture of the paint, if it's already on the leaf, will help with that. This one actually has kind of a line here as well. Not sure why, but it does, and we're going for photorealism of a rendering that's not photorealistic. That's convoluted, isn't it? You know, that looks a lot like the leaves. That's not bad at all. This is okay. And actually, mine are kind of paler at the edges, except for the first one that I don't like. And so are the leaves on the picture, so we're good with this. let's turn to the strawberry top. It actually doesn't go all the way out to the line. The green part is mostly that yellow. Let's see here. Brush is... Hey Oz! Hi! How are you? Oz, it has been too long. I think it's been about a week. Okay, so I'm looking at this picture upside down. That means that it is this side of... Okay, this is where the yellow starts and actually touches. That's convoluted. Okay, and then it goes off straight here. Here. There we go. That looks pretty good. Oz, I am good. I've had a really, really long day. I've been traveling for most of it. But it's been a good day. I traveled, I drove a lot, but I also bought plants for my terrarium that I'm very excited about. I'm gonna try to justify the cost of buying the plants by sprouting babies and trying to sell them. That's the goal there. Okay, nice. Now when that is almost dry, I'm gonna take the darker green. Hi, kitty cat! My cat has been on me like fleas on a dog since I got home, because I've been gone for several days. I know. Meow. Let's see. Gertie. On the lap, not the... Ouch. Okay. Well, that was painful for me. Maybe not her, but pretty sure my back's bleeding now. Okay. Trying to paint this upside down is just too convoluted for my brain to handle right now. There we go. This doesn't go very far. And this piece is a nice little angle over here. How goes the grind, Oz? You've been gaming a lot? That looks pretty good. Now the only thing is I want to make it look slightly greener, a bit less olivey, and it looks like that was way darker than I wanted it to be. Okay. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay. We will do the next one now. Most of it is a lighter green, but it's got a little bit of that yellowy right in here, so I'm going to just put the yellow on and then get mostly green. also not actually also not actually touching the edges here. Except for on this one where it does, it goes straight to the edge of my drawing. And on the stem. Add a little bit more green back to this one. Just let it run. And a little bit more green right down along here. Looks pretty good. The only problem is that now this one looks really yellow. I'm gonna add a little bit more yellow to the other one. Good. And then we'll give it a second to dry, and we'll add in the lines. We can start with this one. It's right down there like that. And then there's a slight one right here. And this one almost just has a star in the middle of it. Yeah, we're gonna let that dry a little more. And in the meantime, I'm gonna touch up this leaf just a little. So it blends in slightly better here. I want those lines to look less stark. Add a little bit more of that yellow. This one. Good. And let's finish the little star on the inside of that. Strawberry. Good. Those ones look pretty good. Let's do the last one while I'm thinking about it, because I've just been working pretty well, so let's not rock the boat. Gonna get some more of the yellow, but I'm gonna make it a little greener this time. And we will on this one, the color goes right out to the edges of the line. On the little rounded part up there at the top, but not on the point. Gets pretty close to it in here. Okay, looking good. haven't painted in a week and a half or so. And frankly, it feels really good to be painting. There's just something very satisfying about it. When it's going well. When it's not going well, it gets to be a little more stressful. But it can be both. Stressful and satisfying. And then this piece comes up here like this. Just I haven't had a lot of time for it, and I haven't had a lot of need, like no reason that I had to, so I've been doing other stuff. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, I want to take just some of our green that's less yellow in it, and give this a few greener areas. It's like it's got some here. And everything that I'm doing is kind of trying to follow the contours of the... I don't know what the top of a strawberry is called, but I'm trying to follow the contours of the little... These might be what the sepals turn into, I don't remember. Botany stuff. But that looks good. It's kind of modeled like the ceramic. And I'm gonna wait till it's just barely no longer shiny. Just kind of, I gauge the moisture of my paper by how shiny something is. That's one thing that I'm not particularly great at in watercolor. It just takes a lot of practice to figure out how moist your paper needs to be for different things. Come up here like this. Just gentle that way. It has a couple very faint little ones kind of going down like that, but this one doesn't actually have them like those other strawberry stems do. This one doesn't have one at all, which bugs me because I want to make one there. But I'm going for photorealism of this photo, so I can't make one there. Yep, I must refrain. Oh, thank you, always. Always! I did something for my migraines. You remember, have I told you about the piercing in my ear that was supposed to help migraines? While I have this color going on here, actually no, I'm just gonna keep doing leaves. This will be fine. Okay, let's move up to the upper leaves right here. I'm gonna make doubly sure that the phone is indeed charging so it doesn't kick me out. Okay, now the leaves up here are tougher. To me, they're more complex, at least, is what I mean. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the yellow underlayer going. Let's do this one at the very top. I'm gonna do the whole thing with this kind of yellow underlayer. What is it, kitty cat? Hey, Nashi. Okay. Just do this quick. Yellow underlayer. So that it's there. since the artist was nice enough not to make these leaves upside down, actually paint them right side up. Good. We got our yellow underlayer going. Really? Let's, what a crazy idea. Let's be consistent. Do that to all the leaves right now. No, actually I want to work with it while the yellow's still wet. Never mind. There's a reason for my madness. My inconsistency madness. Okay, now I'm gonna, that was a very non-viscous layer, so the water dried fairly quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the green now and dab off my brush. Add the green, which is pretty much all over. Now, while it's still quite wet, in these darker areas. I don't know what they're supposed to be doing there. They are here. There's that one. There's one along here. I'm just trying to paint what I see. And okay, there's another. Alright, that looks quite a bit like it, except honestly, on the ceramic, it's darker. So I'm gonna add some more pigment. I'm kind of just dropping the pigment in, which is when you aren't really putting it exactly where you want it to be. I'm just counting on the water that's already on the page to kind of move it with the other areas. Also, this one's not as speckly as that feels. You feel like an Avenger. This is just fun video game music. I don't have rights to legally stream much music, but video game music is, first of all, copyright free, and second of all, I like it. It can be really fun. But I like it too. I'm usually I have my headphones in, but I just got my ears pierced again for my migraines. Hopefully it will help. And so I don't have, there's no way I'm shoving an earbud in there. Talk about a bad plan. Okay, now I feel like the dark insides are right, the light yellow's right, but my in-between green is not there. So I'm gonna let it dry so that I don't mess up the dark areas. And then I'll add the layer of my medium value. It looks very different than these leaves down here, but it looks different than these leaves down here on the photo too, so. Oh, Nashi, I really hope that it will help. It's, they call it a doth piercing, but it's spelled D-A-T-H, like faith with a D. And I had it done a long time ago, hoping that it would help my migraines, because my sister had it done and it helped her. It was, the difference was incredible. So I had it done a long time ago when I was going on a 3-day migraine and I hadn't been able to work, and I just had a friend drive me in from the paleontological site we were working on, and we drove all the way into town, and I found somebody who could do it, and we did it. And it never really seemed to give me any relief, which was very disappointing. My sister recently recommended this one place that she's gone, and she said they're really good about knowing exactly where it's supposed to be and what's what there. And she said that her doctor recommended she go there when she was going to have it done, because they are more familiar with the anatomy of the ear and where exactly that piercing should be for the treatment of migraines rather than for aesthetic reasons. And so when I just went in there to see, hey, is this where it should be for helping migraines or not? And the guy, their doth specialist, was actually there. And he said, well, this one's wrong. This one's way wrong. Then he went to my other ear and he said, yeah, this one's really wrong too. This one's a little bit closer, but it's still, they're not gonna be. I'm not surprised that they haven't helped your migraines. I was like, well, crap. And he's like, yeah, you can just, you wanted to get them redone in the right spot, you can just take these ones out and we'll redo them in the right spot. And I was like, I spent so much time and effort trying to get them to heal, which I know is the kind of a cost-benefit analysis of this, but I had paid all the costs and now I had the pierce. So, I asked him if there was room to just do the new pierce and leave the old one. And he said, you know, it's so far away from where it needed to be that there might actually be room. So he did some measurements and poked where he would put it. And it was really weird because when he poked right in there where he was going to pierce, like, I wasn't sure what he was doing, where he was poking or what he was doing. I knew that he was measuring and seeing, but he poked a place and I said, whoa, where is that where you're gonna pierce? Because it's making my face tingle funny. And he's like, well, yeah, that's where it should be. And I'm kind of trying to measure if you could have a second one just added. I was like, and that, when he was poking around there and I could feel funny tingling sensations in my, what would that be? The vagus nerve? Yeah. And some up and down my arm. I was like, okay, clearly this is an acupressure area that does something for me, and I just felt like it was the right thing to do. So I went for it. I said, fine, do it. Don't give me time to get nervous about it or anything, let's just do it. We did it. And so now I have Two little pierces in there, which, what was it? No, it was the day before yesterday I had it done. And it was really weird because we were staying at my mom's condo, which is kind of their second, it's their home away from home. It's their home in the biggest city that has a real hospital. And a lot of she and her friends stay there when they're having a, you know, if they're having an operation or something where you need access to the hospital or the airport or whatever. And so we were staying there, and I was like, we're gonna have to stop at Walmart and get a travel pillow on my way home, because before, when I had it done, my ears were so sore that I slept on my side on a travel pillow. And my mom was like, there's a travel pillow at the condo. I was like, what? Why would there be a travel pillow there? She was like, I don't know, but I saw one there. I was like, okay, if you're sure. And I thought she was crazy. But we got back home to the condo, and last time I had been through there, I had left my travel pillow there on accident. And it was just a crazy coincidence that she had seen it there and knew it was there. Crazy coincidence that I had accidentally left it. I mean, it's the travel pillow. The only reason I had it in the first place was I bought it specifically for the first time I had my ears pierced, and it was there. Miss Peachy, hi, how are you? Miss Peachy, don't you move, like, tomorrow? Is your flight tomorrow? It's been a long time since you told me the date, but I had in my head August 22nd. Is that right? So anyway, they took out my old piercing, put a smaller ring in there so that it wasn't in their way when they pierced the new one, and now I have two in my ear. Your externship is at the end of September, so you'll be moving by then. Oh. Okay, I wonder how I got the date on that so wrong. Oh man, I hope it does too always. And I've been, you know, real busy the past 2 days, running around shopping in like 100-degree weather, and I haven't had a migraine. My ears have been kind of sore, but you know, I don't blame them. They've kind of gone through a traumatic event in the life of an ear. So, can't blame them for that. Alright, I'm gonna try to put the middle value in here now. I don't think this is how you're up to paint light to dark to middle in pretty much any painting medium that I've ever worked with. But we're kind of learning how to do these leaves as we go, apparently. My sister literally has not had a migraine since she had hers done. And I was actually pretty mad that hers worked so well and mine never did. And it's funny because I have very little faith in it now after having been through that. But I'm telling myself that's illogical. They didn't do it right. So yeah, give it a chance. This is exciting music. Yeah, I should definitely have gone light to medium to dark here, because this is not working right. Oh, thanks, Oz. Okay, I'm gonna go back down to this leaf, which I like a lot as is, but I want to give it some of that green as well. And it looks like it's got some right there, and it kind of goes that, and then there's a bit down here and a bit there. And then on this one, it's got the green there, and there. Okay, good. Gonna move on to the next one. This one here has some of that green going down like this. That's actually the only place it really has it. Alright, we're gonna see if we can salvage this one leaf, because if we can't, and I'm never gonna be happy with it, then I should just stop this whole thing. Let's work on salvaging this leaf before we invest any more time into this. To salvage, I'm going to, well, to attempt to salvage, I'm gonna get some water that's as clean of water as I have without having to go get more. I'm gonna get it on this brush that's pretty stiff. Getting a clean paper towel. And I'm gonna wet down these really dark places. We're gonna see if I can lift. Okay, yeah, I just have to push inward. Good. Yeah, we're gonna be able to lighten this. This will be fine. Not exactly what I wanted to have to do. But it's working. Okay. Yeah. Definitely going to be able to salvage this leaf. Good. Just going to get it very, very wet. And then kind of lift the paint off with my towel. I want to be careful not to push too hard because I can damage the paper, and that would make it look unusual also. So in trying to fix one problem, I would just cause a different one. It was equally as frustrating and actually less reparable than this one. Good. That already looks much more like the other leaves. With a really cheap paper, you probably couldn't do this as well because the paper would get damaged when you messed with it like this. But this paper is doing pretty well. This is not by any means expensive paper, but it's not the really cheap stuff. So, okay. Now the few places that it needs to be even lighter are right along this edge. Because apparently that's where this leaf is really light. And then along here. Okay, that's pretty good. Now this leaf is very, very wet, so I'm gonna leave it be. I'm gonna leave it be. I'm so punny. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get my light, warm, yellowy green and work on this one up here. No, actually, I'm gonna get my medium value and put it on this one, which is more green than any of these others, but still in the same rough area. It comes up like this, and here. Okay. Looking pretty good. Just need a little bit darker. Right in here. And here. Okay. Good. We can let that one sit. See if this one's time to try to fix it. This one has the stem that goes straight to this. And then it has these weird dark splotches here, a little bit here. Good. And then when that's dry, I'll add a little bit more of that green over the top. Okay, looking good, looking good. Next leaf. This one we are going to do differently. We are going to start with the lightest layer. Then we're going to do the medium, the middle value, instead of doing this weird, what I've been doing, which is not quite right. Okay, looks pretty good. And I get some of the green layer. Now I'm gonna do the really dark stuff. The tip of this leaf for some reason has a dark splotch. And these leaves look like a different artist did every single freaking leaf. That's okay. I'm not judging myself. Just saying I should pick a technique and stick to it for one painting at least. Okay. Let's move on to more leaves. Move our camera a little bit. All right, this one. This leaf has kind of different movement than the other ones. I love how it wraps down around this plant, right there, or right around that flower, I mean. Right up at the top. Good. I'm gonna get a little bit more pigment on my brush. And I'll let it dry till it's less, not quite as wet, a little less shiny. I'm gonna try to add some of the medium tone. Which is pretty much everywhere except for along the edges of the right side, where it kind of strangely goes up like it's gonna get there, but that it doesn't. And it doesn't quite make it to the tips on the left side. Yeah. Not bad. Okay, next. The really dark layer. I'm gonna let it dry for a sec again. Mix up some more of the brown so So again, that was yellow, this warm yellow, this kind of olive green, and a tad of this orange to get it back to a brownish green instead of a lime green. And then it's pretty good. On here, this is basically gonna look very, very dark, so I'm gonna go ahead and do trying to make these lines smooth. My hands kind of shaky tonight though. Okay, a short line there. One there. Looks pretty good. Nashi. Okay, before I let's see. Let's go ahead and add in into that middle vein on this leaf and see how it looks. It needs to be very, very straight, controlled line here, because it sure is on the plate. Go ahead and add in the darker lines here. And up here, kind of lost those funny darker blotches. Looks pretty good. Now this one needs its darker spot. Definitely not dark enough. I like this violin music. I don't actually know what game this one's from. It's pretty. I should say orchestral. Star, hi. It's so funny. Talking to your mother in front of both a large stuffed boy over really whacks your leg. Your reaction is supposed to be to play. Isn't that just her asking you to play? That's what our dogs do when they want to play. Or my mom's dog, anyway. Before I do anything else, I should like finish these leaves to this point at least, so so that I can kind of try to make them cohesive. Okay. Let's get the green. And get a little mix there. Is it against you? Yes. Yep. It's like tag you're it. That's what I hear there.
My question is
I don't know. I checked and tried to make sure that it was charging. But usually it does die around this time, I know. But but I really, really need to finish these leaves to this point. To like make them all sort of even maybe consistent. Which needs to happen. Okay, dark. Add some blotches. Goldstar, when does yours, are you, okay, you're not going to be in class this semester, right? Okay, that goes in here. Little patches there. Kind of go inward. We haven't gotten to see a lot of you, Soulstar, since you have to get up so early now. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna do this next one with a yellower underlayer. Made it back to the upside down leaves. Yay. You know Geo? Hey Geo? From listening to you play Octopath Traveler so much, all of the Octopath Traveler music is so familiar to me. And it's pretty music. I always said that while you were playing. Calming, but still energetic, you know? Oh, apparently there's a cat sleeping by my feet. Because I think paws just stretched and rubbed against my foot and then retracted. Good to know. It's much better than her climbing around on my shoulders, because that was not working for me. Okay. Last one. This one honestly has more color in it than some of the others. I do really like the background that we got. It looks really good. Looks very much like ceramic. Okay, we're gonna work on a middle tone here. It's got green. Looks like the middle tone actually misses a lot of this one. Here. Okay. Hey, Buttercup, it's been a long time since we've seen you. You know, Buttercup, I don't know how loud the music is. It's gotten a little bit more, excitable as it was, kind of reaching a crescendo there, but... Also, I am not close enough to the microphone, which happens all the time. Yeah, that one's pretty normal. I want to add some more yellow to these tips of these leaves. Because on the ceramic, it's actually pretty yellow there. Okay, well I'm glad it's okay to some people. I'm gonna switch to this leaf for a minute and work on some of the darker blotchy blotches. Blotchy blotches, blotchers, blotches. Okay. It's very brown here on this one, so I'm gonna add just a touch more of the orange to our color here. Good. Okay. How have you been? You painted a canvas with polka markers. It did the job. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Polka markers? Just work and work. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Lots and lots of work. Japanese markers. Okay, cool. You know what? Whatever works. The only thing I would want to check if I was you, if you were gonna, you know, keep the canvas and stuff, I would see if the markers are light fast. As long as they're light fast, then they will make for great Great art. This one has a lot of funny blotching bits here. Honestly, that's one of the biggest differences between nice quality watercolors and not quality watercolors is the non-quality ones are not nearly as light fast. What else can you use on canvas? Oils is pretty common on canvas, but it's quite a met. I mean, it's a commitment. Getting into oil paints is a commitment. I would suggest acrylics. Acrylic paint works really great on canvas. It's not very difficult to work with. You just have to remember that it's not water soluble when you get done. So you need to wash it off of your paintbrush and stuff before it dries. But acrylic is pretty good. I haven't done it for a while, but acrylic is nice and opaque as well, which is fun to use. Can you use pastel crayons? I've never tried oil pastels on canvas. I don't know. You're not experienced with brushes. Okay, let me think about this. So you have canvases and you're looking for a way to use them artistically that doesn't involve brushes. You know, I did a really cool piece on a canvas with an ink pad, and I was actually, it was kind of like finger painting. It was an ink pad, and I would stick my finger in it and then blot it on the canvas. And when I needed it to be darker or shadows, I would just make a second layer of like the ink blots. And I mean, everybody finger paints as kids, right? That's basically what I was doing there. Although the ink, anything it got on, it stained immediately, which was kind of annoying. But it was really interesting. Trying to think what else that didn't involve brushes. You could also always just try brushes. They're not difficult. If you've ever had brush tip markers, are you laughing at my ink blot one? It was really cool. It turned out really well. It was for an assignment in one of my art classes. I was like, fine, they put dumb restrictions on us there, and I was annoyed about it. And so I was being technically following the rules, but I knew that I was being belligerent, shall we say. But the professor didn't know that, and the artwork came out really well. And so it actually kind of made me stretch myself. Darn teachers, making you stress yourself. No, you want me to use brushes. Hey, I told you to finger paint. Okay, that's looking pretty good. It needs more color. More yellow. More cowbell! Okay. We are having such bad wildfires in my state right now that we have a lot of smoke in the air, and my voice is tired of it. Really, really tired of it. I mean, I don't want to complain because like people are losing their homes and I've just lost my voice. So that's obviously much worse. But basically it would be good for everybody if we could get some of these fires out. That would be nice. Finger paint, but I have to paint numbers and letters. That would be hard to paint numbers and letters with finger paints, I think. You can't get like a nice point with that. California, you're used to it. Yeah, I'm used to it too. We're in Idaho and we get a lot of wildfires. It's just... I don't know why my voice is being so weird, but it is. I've also been around my mom and my sister for the weekend, so we've talked a lot. File down your fingers. Okay, so there was only one place that I really needed a straight line on that ink blot one that I did. So I put tape down to cover, basically like I put tape down here, and then blotted all around to get a nice sharp edge, and then I took the tape off. And it worked surprisingly well. Yeah. Yeah, it works. It works. What is it, kitty cat? You're howling at me. Yeah, you are. I know. Cat, how am I supposed to paint with you in the way? This is what we're working with here. You are literally stepping on my paint. Yeah, it's wet. Imagine that. Does your little paw not like it? Here. Come on. You can sit on my lap. No. Let her sign the picture with her paw. You know what? I have definitely got a stamp pad that is non-toxic pet-proof ink, or pet-safe ink, so that you can push their paw on the pad and then make little paw prints. I got it because I really wanted a paw print from my mom's polydactyl cat, who has like 7 or 8 toes per foot. But he's not willing to let me fingerprint him. I did our dog though, and that was pretty good. That worked, or my mom's dog. That worked pretty well. Polydactyl cat though was not on board with that process. Yeah, which is the whole reason I got the ink pad. Darn cat. Non-cooperative. That was, yeah. And he's really strong and kind of scary, so, couldn't really make him, couldn't really get him on board with that plan. He caught a weasel the other day. Caught and killed a weasel. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Weasels are mean. Sharp teeth, strong, mean, like, dang. But my mom thinks it was on their deck hunting snakes. Yeah, he killed it. He brought it dead to my mom and dropped it on the deck. And it was, she had just let him out. So we have little frogs on, she has little frogs on her deck. She has fountains, and they come to the fountains and live there. But lately she had been having little garter snakes coming up to eat the frogs. And then apparently she was getting a weasel up there to eat the snakes. And then she let the cat out, who killed the weasel. And then was like, she said that he looked kind of stunned when he brought it up and dropped it, like, what the heck is this and why was it on our deck? But the leaves are looking fantastic. Thank you, always. They are looking surprisingly like the ceramic, which is nice. You don't think it's a cat? I mean, he does sound kind of like a mutant, doesn't he? With like extra paws and or extra toes, extra paws. He really would be a mutant. Buttercup, you should go to my YouTube. I have some YouTube shorts of this cat because he's so cute. He's just a big cat. I have one YouTube short where I'm calling their dog, and the dog is afraid to come to me because he is in between me and the dog, just laying there, wiggling his little tail, being a jerk. Yeah, I think my YouTube is just Garnet Gamer Girl without any spaces. You should go there and check out the shorts, because most of them are of him, and then some of them are of my mom's tortoise, which is also quite exciting. Yeah, I've never seen cats kill something that big. You know, I don't think I have either. Not only big, but mean. I mean, weasels are mean and sharp teeth and slippery, and yeah, I don't know. Everybody was kind of shocked. I'm gonna peel off the masking fluid on the other two flowers now. Let's see. I think I'm just going to be able to be a little bit more gentle. So on this first flower, it was tearing the paper when I was peeling it. On this one, I think I'm just going to use only my finger so that I can kind of feel if it starts to peel and go slower. There we go. Yeah, it's working a little bit better when I just use my finger. And kind of hold the paper down while I peel the masking fluid up. Oh, thank you for the follow. Let's see. Come on, work with me here. It's stuck. Okay, there we go. It looks weird. Yeah, it does. It feels pretty weird too. It's like playing with rubber cement, kinda. But it looks so cool once you peel it up and like there's blank paper underneath. Usually it peels better than this, but then again, usually I didn't poke at it 5 billion times to see if it was dry or not, which gave it kind of an uneven surface and gave it all sorts of problems. So there we go. A little bit there. Apparently I poked at it too much right there because some got through. Okay, Buttercup, thanks for stopping by. It was good to see you again. It's been a long time. Honestly, I'm about to stop art anyway, because I'm starting to get really tired. Oh, this is so cool! Okay, I do want to show you guys this. You know how I was talking about the pigments being brown versus blue, and the blue was heavier? So here is that little container that was holding the paint that I did the background with. That's a mix of brown and blue. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's blue on the bottom. and brown. Like runny brown. Yeah, there we go. It shows up. So the blue is definitely larger pigment, and the brown has stayed suspended in the water. So the blue might be just a heavier pigment, but it's certainly the pigment that is under there. So yeah, that's cool. No, Buttercup, I didn't make this pigment. I just, I have made pigment, and I've actually done a lot of research studying pigment, because I'm an archaeologist, and I'm also really into art, obviously, and so I've done stuff with making pigment and then testing it using archaeological stuff, but yeah, no, this I just mixed up from these guys. Oh man, though, there is a store online called the Limner's Guild, where you can buy stuff to make your own watercolors, or I guess kind of an egg tempera, but you can buy your own pigments and make paint. Oh my gosh, I would love to do that. How Avatar people are made? That one I don't know. Sounds too modern for me. Ah, okay everybody. We have been painting straight for 3 hours. Wow. Okay. And the phone didn't die, everybody, which is kind of amazing. An archaeologist. I love it. Yeah. Maybe archaeologist. Okay. Yes, Buttercup. Good night. Always Nashi, Miss Peachy, Soulstar, Oz, everybody who stopped by, thank you so much for being here. We will work on this probably next Wednesday, if I don't decide that I should get it done for my friend before then. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Nashi, and thank you so much for the subs. Oh, to let you Twitch watchers know, I just received an email from Twitch saying that the subs are going to go up to $7.99 in October. So that's a thing, just to let everybody know. I don't know how I feel about that yet. Honestly, I feel like if subs were $1 or $2, it would be much easier for people to actually sub and show appreciation. Because I know I would be more inclined to sub to people if it was just a couple dollars, and I would spend more on it, but $7.99 is a lot, and I'm kind of annoyed at them. But you can always watch my streams on YouTube or Kick. It is a steep increase. It's part of the reason that I really like Kick. I dual stream, so what you're seeing on Twitch is exactly the same as on Kick, except Kick doesn't have commercials. And with Kick, a sub is $4.99, and if you sub, I personally get $4.75 of that. So I get 90+%. On Twitch, I get $2.50 something per 566 sub, which is about 50%. Yes, it's going up to $7.99 in October. Just to let everybody know, because I feel like you need to know that that's what it is now. Oh, everybody, thanks for being here. I'm gonna stop and let my voice rest, and I will see everybody next time. Only for Twitch. Oh yeah, I don't think that Kick is changing. Kick hasn't said anything about it. But yeah, I see Buttercup that you are on Kick there, and I see that Nashi. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, well, it's part of the reason I'm on Kick anyway. So if you guys ever want to check out Kick, on Kick, I am kick.com/GarnetGG. kick.com/GarnetGG. On Twitch, I am twitch.tv/Garnet_GG. It means good. It means everyone's going to join Kick. I mean, yeah, possibly. So, oh, okay, everybody. My voice, I'm losing it. Good night. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Remember to take care of yourselves. Be good people. You are loved and appreciated. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Gems. I will see you next time. Bye. Oh, and if you ever need to get a hold of me, go through Discord. I'm available.